In 2025, the United States quietly signed a secret deal with India and almost no one noticed. But now the details are leaking, and they could change everything. From fast-track visas for Indian workers to AI warfare, military tech transfers, and energy alliances, this isn't just diplomacy, it's a global power move. Insiders say it's designed to counter China, others say it's about tech control. But the real question is, what's in it for India? And why now? This deal could reshape immigration, defense, and global dominance. Let's break it down, because the world order might just be shifting right under our feet. In early 2025, a confidential US-India agreement quietly surfaced online, partly leaked through diplomatic cables, and partly confirmed by whistleblowers. The deal, signed behind closed doors, wasn't announced in any press conference. But its contents? Explosive. We're talking about a multi-domain strategic partnership with specific cooperation in military tech transfers, artificial intelligence development, visa and immigration pathways, energy and satellite surveillance, data sharing on China and the Indo-Pacific. The deal, reportedly codenamed Project Gateway, outlines commitments from both sides to strengthen their position in Asia-Pacific geopolitics while accelerating cooperation in defense and digital infrastructure. It wasn't signed as a traditional treaty. Instead, it's a series of executive memorandums, private investment pledges, and fast-track policy changes, making it less visible but fully operational. How was it leaked? A combination of investigative reporting from a Washington-based think tank and an anonymous Indian intelligence analyst who confirmed the deal's existence to global outlets. Then came a second leak. Military procurement documents showing new drone systems being co-developed by US and Indian firms under a joint fund. This isn't just a trade deal, it's a blueprint for future dominance, economic, military, and digital. And the fact that it wasn't made public, that tells you everything about how strategic and sensitive this move really is. Why would the United States and India sign a sweeping secret deal in 2025? 3 words: China, elections, and dominance. The United States is facing a shrinking influence in Asia, challenged by China's Belt and Road expansion, rising cyber threats, and growing BRICS cooperation. Washington knows that without India, it can't hold ground in the Indo-Pacific. Meanwhile, India has elections on the horizon, and Prime Minister Modi wants to solidify India's position as a global superpower. By aligning with the United States behind the scenes, he gets defense tech, global prestige, and leverage over regional rivals, all without appearing submissive to Western powers. Timing is also driven by shared tech interests. The race for artificial intelligence, semiconductor independence, and satellite control has hit a boiling point, and with tensions high in Taiwan and the Red Sea, the United States wants trusted partners who can move fast. Let's also not ignore internal pressure. U.S. corporations and defense contractors have been lobbying for deeper ties with India, the world's largest democracy and a $3 trillion economy. This isn't just policy, it's strategy. The timing, it's about securing power in a world that's becoming multipolar. This deal might be quiet, but it's loud in its intent. India and the United States are no longer dancing. They're marching forward, side by side. At the heart of the secret deal lies defense cooperation, and it's way beyond past military exercises. Under this agreement, the United States has authorized the joint development of advanced drone systems, hypersonic missile defense, and surveillance AI in collaboration with Indian firms. That means cutting-edge American military tech is now flowing into India, something once reserved for NATO allies only. And that's not all. For the first time ever, India will allow rotational United States access to naval bases in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, a critical location overlooking the Malacca Strait, one of China's most vital trade routes. In return, Indian naval officers will be embedded on United States strike groups in the Pacific. They're also forming a new Indo-Pacific fusion cell, combining satellite intelligence, naval tracking, and cybersecurity tools. This unit will operate out of both Washington and New Delhi, a digital war room built for China. Why does this matter? Because this deal marks a new level of military trust. The United States is betting that India won't just be a partner, it'll be a frontline ally in the great power struggle. India, on the other hand, gains elite weaponry, strategic depth, and a stronger voice in regional security leadership. This is more than a partnership. It's a defense pact without the paperwork. and China is watching every move. Immigration reform fast-track visas for Indians? Here's where it gets personal: immigration. As part of this secret agreement, the United States is expanding fast-track processing for Indian nationals in STEM fields. H-1B visas, green card backlogs, and even startup visas are all being reshaped under this deal. According to internal memos, Indian applicants will receive priority H-1B adjudication if employed by U.S.-India tech partners. They will be eligible for a new STEM Innovator visa with 3-year residency and a path to permanent residency. Additionally, they will see expanded options for family reunification and work authorization for spouses. This is a huge win for Indian workers and students, many of whom have waited years stuck in visa queues. And it's not just about individuals. The United States is also incentivizing American tech companies to hire from India-based incubators and research hubs, with simplified transfer and relocation processes. Why now? Because the United States needs talent. As the global tech race heats up, Indian engineers, AI developers, and researchers are seen as critical assets. And with China-US visa tensions rising, Washington is choosing India as its go-to innovation partner. This could reshape immigration for over 500,000 Indians already in the United States, and open new doors for millions more. The question now isn't whether Indians will migrate to America. It's whether the system can move fast enough to keep up. If you thought Silicon Valley was big, meet the Silicon Triangle, a new digital powerhouse connecting the United States, India, and select allied partners to dominate global AI, cybersecurity, and semiconductor production. As part of the leaked deal, the United States has pledged nearly $5 billion in private and public investment to support Indian AI startups, quantum computing labs, and chip fabrication facilities. In return, India will grant exclusive access to its data clusters, machine learning infrastructure, and digital testing zones. Think of it as AI NATO, a tech defense pact against China's growing AI empire. India brings massive data pools, skilled AI engineers, and cost-efficient R&D. The United States brings capital, military-grade AI systems, and global influence. Together, they're working to build a joint cyber defense shield, develop ethical AI standards to counter China's surveillance-driven tech, and expand semiconductor independence by 2030. The Silicon Triangle also includes a data corridor between Bangalore, Austin, and Tel Aviv, designed to securely transfer training models and encrypted data sets without touching Chinese internet infrastructure. Why is this big? Because it's not just about building tech, it's about controlling the future. Whoever leads in AI will lead in finance, war, medicine, and politics. In 2025, the US-India Tech Alliance is doing more than disrupting Silicon Valley. It's creating a new axis of digital power, and nobody saw it coming. Buried deep in the leaked documents are two major sectors where India and the United States are quietly forging next-generation dominance: energy and space. On the energy front, the United States has committed to helping India triple its nuclear energy output by 2035, with tech transfers for small modular reactors, SMRs, and advanced thorium-based systems. India gets cleaner energy. The United States gets a buyer for its next-gen reactors and a regional partner who's less dependent on Russian fuel. There's also a pipeline project in development, a digital hydrogen corridor stretching from India's Gujarat coast to U.S. West Coast partners, enabling green hydrogen trade across the Pacific by 2030. Now let's talk space. India's 𝐬𝐮𝐫 is joining forces with NASA for co-launched satellite constellations focused on Earth observation, navigation, and military-grade weather tracking. These satellites will feed real-time data to the Indo-Pacific fusion cell introduced earlier, turning space into a shared intelligence frontier. India will also gain partial access to the U.S. GPS military layer, improving targeting and surveillance in Indian Ocean operations, a move previously reserved for NATO allies. Why does this matter? Because space and energy are long-game arenas. They define who controls the planet, not just for 5 years, but for 5 decades. In 2025, India and the United States aren't just teaming up, they're future-proofing their alliance. Let's be clear. China is watching this deal with alarm. The leaked pact represents a shift in Asia-Pacific power that Beijing cannot ignore. From naval coordination in the Indian Ocean to digital surveillance satellites, the United States and India are quietly building a containment web. For Russia, it's equally unsettling. India has long been a Russian arms buyer. But this deal accelerates India's pivot toward Western defense systems, weakening Moscow's influence and cutting into its military exports. Other countries are scrambling to respond. Japan and Australia are pushing to join parts of the Tech Alliance, Israel is expanding satellite collaboration, and even Saudi Arabia and the UAE are seeking roles in the hydrogen trade channel. This is no longer just a US-India deal, it's the start of a new global alignment, one not based on old alliances, but on technology, talent, and trust. For developing nations, the message is clear, you don't need to pick sides. But the new centers of power are moving east. And for citizens in both India and the United States, the next few years will be defined by what this deal enables. Faster immigration, better tech, and a louder global voice. The secret's out, the shift has begun, and the world just tilted, quietly but permanently. This wasn't just a handshake, it was a power transfer. The United States and India just signed a deal that could redefine tech, military power, immigration, and global influence for decades. But here's the question. Will it work? Will it bring stability? Or spark the next great rivalry? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited or concerned about this new alliance? If this breakdown opened your eyes, hit like, share it, and subscribe for more deep dives into the real deal shaping our future. Because when nations move in silence, you need to listen louder.